you. I've litigated over 20 wrongful death cases against police departments, including 6 here in Oakland. All of them involved families with the victim being people of color. And I was active legally and also in the community for 23 years, 33 years before the Riders case came about. I subsequently have been part of the legal team that's filed 4 class action lawsuits against the city of Oakland in just the last 11 years. 2 of them I'm only going to mention briefly tonight. One is the Smith class action, in which a police officer here in Oakland used his authority to pull over Asian, mostly immigrant women and subject them to sexual improprieties year after year after year. And the difference, at least as far as I can see, between Oakland and other police departments is this guy wasn't caught after 1 time or 2 times. He did it, well, we were able to trace it back 5 years before they destroyed the records. So that was one. The other one was in 2010, where it was discovered by Internal Affairs in Oakland that 2 out of every 3 search warrants involving narcotics was based on either false or perjurious testimony. John Burris and I represented 100 people whose houses were raided under false warrants, who were sent to jail, who were beaten, and every one of them, except for 1 person, was a person of color. I'm not going to talk about that tonight either. What I am going to talk about is the Riders case and the April 7th, 2003 protest at the Port of Oakland, which were the other 2 class actions that I was involved in. The Riders case went on for at least 4 years. Again, very hard to say. The distinguishing feature was that the officers were able to do this over and over and over again, planting drugs on people in the Oakland community, forcing them to serve sentences aggregating 40 years in prison, giving them felony records that they did not deserve. And we ultimately, John and I, represented 129 people in that case. Again, 128 of them were people of color. All of them were compensated. But when we started the Riders case, we told the city officials in Oakland that we were going to try every single case unless we had a consent decree, or as they call it, a negotiated settlement agreement, because at that point, and certainly it's even more true now, we had just given up on trying to get compensation for individuals and thinking that would somehow transform the city and the police department, thinking that somehow they would pay a certain number of dollars and stop what they were doing. That policy was a failed policy, and we told them it was unacceptable in the Riders case. So we did negotiate the negotiated settlement agreement with the city of Oakland. It's online. I think it's even on the police website. And it calls for the police to meet certain standards in terms of writing policies, being trained for those policies, and then coming into practice compliance, which is actually doing the things that are written. And doing the things that are written has been a big problem for the Oakland Police Department, not only in this case, but their own general orders and their crowd control policy, which I'll get to in a minute. The negotiated settlement agreement is divided up into a number of categories. I can't go into them all now. They involve a fair internal affairs system, identifying problem officers before it's too late for them and for their victims, having a satisfactory span of control, in other words, making sure officers are supervised